Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Appropriately known as irreligion, vidharma, religious principle for which one is unfit, para-dharma, pretentious religion, ābhāsa, analogical religion, upadharma, and cheating religion, chala-dharma. One who is aware of real religious life must abandon these five as irreligious. Courtesy by Divine Grace, Śrīla Gopāla Kṛṣṇa. Any religious principle opposed to the principle of surrendering to the lotus feet of the Supreme Personality of Godhead Krishna are to be considered religious principles of irrationality or cheating, and one who is actually interested in religion must give them up. One should simply follow the instructions of Krishna and surrender unto him. To do this, of course, one needs very good intelligence, which may be awakened after many, many births to good association with devotees and practice of Krishna consciousness. Everything for the principle of religion recommended by Krishna, dharma-jño or India, should be given up as a religion. So, as I said, I would like to cover two verses today. The next is text 13. I will just read a translation and purport because it has a very similar theme. Dharma-vat para-dharmaśya upadharma pañcemā chalaḥ. Religious principles that obstruct one from following his own religion are called vidharma. Religious principles introduced by others are called para-dharma. A new type of religion created by one who is falsely proud and who opposes the principles of the Vedas is called upadharma. And interpretation by one's jaggery of what is called chala-dharma. Third version of Prabhupada. To create a new type of dharma has become fashionable in this age. So-called Swamis and yogis support that one may follow any type of religious principle according to one's own choice, because all systems are ultimately the same. In Srimad Bhagavatam, however, such fashionable ideas are called vidharma because they go against one's own religious system. The real religious system is described by the Supreme Personality of Godhead, chala-dharma, para-dharma. The real religious system is that of surrender to the lotus feet of the Lord. In the fifth canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, in connection with arguing Terugan, Yama said, Munam is Dakshan Bhagavad Pañcā. The real religion is that which is given by the Supreme Personality of Godhead, just the real law is that which is given by the government. No one can manufacture actual law at home. No one can manufacture actual religion. Elsewhere it is said, para-dharma yato bhakti adhoshage. The real religious system is that which leads one to become a devotee of the Supreme Lord. Therefore, anything opposed to this religious system of progressive Krishna consciousness is called vidharma, para-dharma, upadharma, or chala-dharma. This is the reason of Bhagavad Gita is chala-dharma. When Krishna directly says something and some rascal interprets it to mean something different, this is chala-dharma, a religious system of cheating, or tyajet, a jaggery of words. One should be extremely careful to avoid these various types of cheating systems of irreligion. Om Jnana Purindasya Jnana Jana Salakya Chakshumanitamina Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manovistam Sagatangina Bhutale Swayam Nipakadamayam Vadati Swapadhantikam Mandeham Shri Guru Shri Upadharma Shri Guru Vaishnavanaśta Shri Rupam Tagadatam Sahajana Rajuna Dhanvitam Tham Sajivam Satvritam Sodhutam Padhano Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Śrīla Gopāla Kṛṣṇa Padān Sahajana Dalita Śrī Vishākhā Dalša. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasri Gaur-Bhakta-vrinda. Hare Krishna. Hare Rama, Hare Rama. Vidharma para-dharmasya ābhāsa chalaḥ. adharma-śākhāḥ pañcemā dharma-jño dharmavat tyajet. dharma-vato vidharmasya para-dharmaḥ upadharmasya pañcā dharma-vat chalaḥ. So, these two verses are spoken by Narada Muni for the benefit of those who have not been here regularly. At this point in the Srimad Bhagavatam, Narada Muni is continuing his instruction to the great king Yudhishthira Maharaj. We can see that Yudhishthira, who is known as Dhamra, the embodiment of religion, even he is a certain direction as to what is religious principle. So the point is in spiritual life, at no point is one thing that is independent of spiritual instruction. Because the moment one becomes independent of spiritual instruction, one begins to deviate from the spiritual path and gets further entangled in the show existence. Therefore we see that in Vedic history, even the basis of Christianity is spiritual direction. So now the Muni is giving instructions as to what should be the normal duty of a civilized human being. Yesterday we had explained that in common man's language, a civilized person is interpreted to be one who has the mature qualifications, but from a spiritual perspective, a civilized being is one who lives by the instruction of Guru, Sadhu, and Shastra. Now, Narada Muni, in continuing his instruction, is in these two verses under review talking about different aspects of irreligion. We must know about the different aspects of irreligion because irreligion today is very, very common. Under the garb of religion, under the name of religious enthusiasm, under the disguise of religious freedom, so many irreligious activities are going on in different parts of the world. Therefore, the Bhagavatam identified for us different aspects of Maya. If you can do the Srimad Bhagavatam has very nicely explained about the different forms of Maya. How Maya takes on different colors, like one is identification of the body, second is the principle of self-deception, the third is anger after frustration, the next is the fear of death, and lastly, one thing is all that I survey is my real possession, and it's mine, never belong to God. Who says it's God? So these are 5 different types of ignorance. And then Brahmaji also further explains the 4 different aspects of spiritual knowledge, which consists of austerity or tapasya, which consists of sankhya or viragya, austerity, and there's a sankhya and there's viragya, and yoga. Because yoga means the path by which one understands the Lord. Yogina Kapi Sarveshna. Krishna is also known as Yogeshwara, the master of all yoga. So, here in this verse, in these verses, Narada Muni is telling us about different aspects of irreligion. We must establish Narada Muni's credibility. Because once the credibility of the speaker is established, then his instructions are taken with more seriousness. The last man has identified has identified 12 portions of spiritual authority. Narada, Sambhu, Krama, Kapilo, Mano, Kalamo, Janako, Esmo. Believe by the Sakir Mayam. So Yamraji has said that there are 12 Mahajans. Mahajan means a spiritual authority. So there are 12 Mahajans of spiritual authority, and one of the 12 Mahajans is Narada Muni. Synonyms meet in the spiritual master Vyasadeva, the spiritual master, many famous personalities, Dhruva Maharaj, Prahlad Maharaj. Synonyms Muni's instructions have to be taken with the utmost seriousness. Synonyms Muni is talking about different aspects of irreligion. Now, irreligion takes on different forms. Now, vidharma means irreligion. And as Prabhupada has pointed out, Prabhupada has given us in the purpose of these two verses a one-line definition. Anything contrary to surrendering to the Supreme Lord Sri Krishna is termed to be irreligious. Dharma-jño Bhagavad Pranita. Religion means the words of God. Just like when we talk about laws, we don't talk about laws made by the mafia. We talk about laws as the those enacted by the government, isn't it? So similarly, religious laws cannot be adjusted to the passage of time. Just like it is very common to hear those who have had exposure to the Vedic philosophy to say that, oh, now our Vedic teachings have to be adjusted to the passage of time. Now we are in the 20th century, so you can't follow the same conservative habits, the same philosophy which was given 5 million years ago. We have to adjust this philosophy because we are in Kali-yuga. We are in the 20th century. It's very common for us to meet people in India and other elsewhere who claim that the philosophy of Krishna consciousness should be adjusted. When Prabhupada first came to the West, he was also approached by these so-called bogus yogis and swamis in New York. And Prabhupada was told that he does not have to implement these strict rules because nobody was going to follow it. But Prabhupada was uncompromising on the real path and hence he did not compromise. So religion cannot be compromised. Religion cannot be interpreted. Religion cannot be adjusted. Religion has to be accepted as the Supreme Lord has spoken. That is why Prabhupada's presentation of the Gita is called Bhagavad Gita as it is. Many times people ask, oh, why is it called as it is? Why? Why is it not just called Bhagavad Gita? Isn't it? So Prabhupada has explained this on many occasions. It is called as it is because Prabhupada was distressed to see how many interpretations which is explained in this word, the chala-dharma, were being presented, and therefore Prabhupada presented the real truth as Arjuna accepted Krishna's teaching. So if we accept the teachings of the Lord and the spiritual life of the Shastra as it is, then there can be spiritual advancement. But if we're going to make adjustments to these teachings always to suit our convenience, then of course one may pretend to be religious, but one will not develop genuine love of God. So let us discuss the different aspects of irreligion. So vidharma means irreligion. Para-dharma means religious principles practiced by others. Ābhāsa means pretentious religious principles. Upamā means principles in the field religious dharma. And chala means cheating religion. So people pretend to be religious, but they are not religious, isn't it? Like in India, you see so many people, they're going to puja for 1 hour a day. Because you go to their office there, and now they are big dealers in their office. And he's a very big businessman. He would always have big dealers in his office, also pictures all around his office of these. But he was doing everything irreligious at the same time. So the point is that we should not pretend to be religious. We have to really live by actual religion. We should not interpret religion, and we should not concoct religious principles. And nor should we pretend that we are actually being religious when we are actually being irreligious. So, chala-dharma, this word chala is very common. Like in India, the going principle is chalega. Chalega. Chalega means, whatever you do, chalega. It's all okay. So sometimes when we come to Krishna consciousness also we say chalega. Everything chalega. I can do whatever I want, I can be initiated, but everything is chalega. I'm going to give my own interpretation to everything. So chalega does not work in spiritual life. If we have the principle, it is very interesting that the Bhagavatam also talks about chala-dharma. So, everything in India, chalega is very common. So, you can't survive in India without knowing the word chalega. So the Bhagavatam also uses this word. So, chala-dharma is actually means achieving religious system. It is not that we just adopt religion as a formality and don't understand the significance of religion. Just like, for example, people go to places of pilgrimage in India, okay? Or anywhere in the world. You may go to Hajwa, you may go to Vrindavan, you may go to Hyderabad, Ganges, you may go to Kumbh-Mela times. But you're just going to these different places of pilgrimage just to get your sinful burden removed. But then again, the moment you come out, you resume sinning. Then what is the benefit? Krishna Maharaj explains that this is just like the breathing of an elephant. The elephant goes and takes baths in the river and its body becomes clean. But the moment the elephant comes out of the water and it sits on the ground, again its body becomes dirty, isn't it? So what's the use? So Krishna Maharaj, he rejected atonement as a means to develop love of God. In the 6th canto of the Bhagavatam starts with a very thought-provoking question by Parikshit Maharaj. The thought-provoking question was, how can people be saved from going to hell? Because in the 5th canto, Śrīla Gopāla has given a very detailed explanation of the different hellish planets. So Parikshit Maharaj, being a Vaishnava devotee of the Lord, was very concerned, how can they be saved? So Śrīla Gopāla's answer that I want to take the religious principles was rejected by Parikshit Maharaj because he said also very much woman. Unless the heart becomes cleansed, one will not be able to give up sinful desires. And Parikshit Maharaj gave a very nice example. He said, just like the tree may get burnt. Now when the tree is burnt, the top of the tree is destroyed and becomes ashes. But as long as the root of the tree is still there below the earth, the tree is going to grow again, isn't it? So, one may use social pressure or some other formalities temporarily give up some nonsense activities. But unless the heart becomes cleansed, the sinful propensity that has been consolidated in the heart and stands a memorial will not be destroyed. And as long as the sinful tendency is not destroyed, one cannot give up sinful activities. Therefore we see that modern governments are trying to control sinful activities. They are unsuccessful. Like in the Soviet Union, they have huge billboards, newspaper articles, stop drinking vodka, Gorbachev is always saying don't drink vodka. But they're totally unsuccessful. People stand in line for 8 hours a day to buy their bottle of vodka. Because unless they have a positive alternative, they won't give it up. Similarly, the war against drug abuse has also been a failure because people are not cleansing their heart. Just telling people, okay, give up this, it's not going to be enough. Just like there's such a great fear about AIDS, isn't it? The whole North American medical industry is scared to death about AIDS. But people are not giving it up because they are not able to cleanse their heart and therefore they keep engaging in sinful activity. So cleansing of the heart is a must. It can't be planned by following real religion. Otherwise, we follow irreligion on some format or the other. So, the one who is opposed to the Vedic conclusion is called upadharma. Upadharma means one is opposed to the Vedic process of religion. Because the Vedas were compiled by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And upadharma is religion that is opposed to religious principles. Just like even in India, you have a lot of people who are opposed to religious principles. You have political parties in southern India, for example, who are just opposed to anything to do with the Vedas. Anything to do with the Vedas. They're completely opposed to it. So, the Vedic scriptures, Veda Shastra Manga Adhideya Prayojana. The Vedic scriptures do not teach a sectarian viewpoint, but the Vedic scriptures teach what is universal philosophy. Universal brotherhood means understanding that we're all brothers and sisters, children of the same Father, and hence we must abide by the directions of the Supreme Lord. So, religion, which is opposed to the Vedas, is called upamā, and then religious principles introduced by others is called para-dharma. There are so many so-called Swamis who come from India who have their own religious process, isn't it? Some of them say religion is taught by heritage. My father was God, so now I'm also God. I don't want to name them in public, but I could if you want. There's so many so-called religious systems. They're huge homeless. Huge. Just like, I'll give you one point. I don't think I'll offend anyone. I'll look around. I don't see any follow that. Just like, for example, the Swami Narayana. The Swami Narayana is a Gujarati. In fact, they made calling the Romans of Gujarati. Now, the original founder founded it with the belief that Radha and Krishna have to be worshipped. Now, the most prominent of the various breakaway groups of Swami Narayana, the Swami group, their philosophy is that the Guru is everything. We're not undermining the position of the Guru because that is all emphasized in the Vedic scriptures, but the Guru doesn't say that he is God. You understand? The Guru doesn't say just worship me as Radha Krishna in the background. You know? So similarly, there are so many other so-called processes. They don't follow the religion, they've just been concocted to suit the convenience of people. And the same trend is common in the Western countries and so on. It's not that this is confined just to India, for example. So this is para-dharma. Para-dharma is religious principles introduced by others. Religious principles introduced by those who are fallible. Religious principles introduced by those who are ethical committing four types of sinful activities, or four types of mistakes. And we all have a tendency to cheat. We all get an illusion. Our senses are imperfect, isn't it? We all get an illusion. So, we are all making four types of mistakes. Therefore, we accept knowledge that is emanating from the perfect personality. We all have a tendency to cheat. So, religion should not be concocted. And one of the word category is called chala-dharma. And Prabhupada explained that chala-dharma also means those who give their own interpretation to the words of the Lord. When we accept the teachings of the Lord, Krishna says, dharma-dharmam parityaja ma-ekam. How can you say that God has no form? Isn't it? How can you say that Krishna doesn't exist? One very, very famous personality. He was one of the greatest philosophers. He is president of India and so on. He has given his translation of the Gita. But in the whole translation, the word Krishna is not mentioned even once. There are so-called, so many famous speakers of the Gita like Swami Chinmayananda and ābhāsa, very famous speaker, travels all over the world. I don't say that very good. Anyway, so, but if you read his, hear his lectures of the Gita, no mention of Krishna. He says that he has a being. And so, this is chala-dharma. You just take the word of the Lord, very famous, the Bhagavad Gita, and to suit your own ideology, you use the Gita and give your own ideology. So this has to be stopped. And shabda-bhit. Prabhupada mentions the word shabda-bhit. Shabda-bhit means word jugglery. For unqualified, the Sanskrit language is such a language that one can easily do word jugglery. Word jugglery means that you're both reading the same verse, but you're deriving your own interpretation, isn't it? Just like in ISKCON, we also have a phrase similar to this. What's that? Different slopes for different folks. So we all take a different slope for different folks. Different devotees for different verses, just to establish the own viewpoint. So this is called virgin. Actually, there's no such thing as different slopes for different folks. But we have developed an art of using the scriptures to suit our own philosophical viewpoint. So this chala-dharma, they should be avoided. And because a Prabhupada is explained in the purpose, para-dharma yatum bhakti adhosune, anisam kevalasiyata yajatma suprasidati. Yajatma suprasidati. That the self, yajatma, the self can only be satisfied, suprasidati, when it executes para-dharma. Para-dharma and upara-dharma are different. Para-dharma means unmotivated religion. Ābhāsa means motivated religion. Just like very often we get accused by our Hindu friends that in our temple we don't chant the Om Jai prayer, isn't it? We don't chant that prayer, we do it at a program, but in our temple in front of deities we don't do it. Why? Because in that prayer, thou is God, King of the Supreme, there's so many material desires that are being presented. I may get well, my family may not face misery, I may not have this, I may not have this calamity, I may not have that. We're always asking the Lord for different things. Now, this viewpoint, now superior to the viewpoint of atheism, is inferior to the path of pure religion. Because the path of pure religion has been defined to be the path where one just starts to serve without expecting anything in return at all. And therefore, through the medium of the Hare Krishna mantra, we are just praying to the Lord, please bring in devotion. When we chant Hare Krishna, when we read the Bhagavatam, when we read the Bhagavad Gita, we are just learning how to get pure bhakti. Not how to get some material prosperity or how to get rich in the stock market or this or that. No. We are just in the path of pure bhakti. Because it is only the path of pure bhakti that can satisfy the individual. This understanding must be there. That I may become the most powerful man on this planet. I may become the richest man on this planet. I may become the greatest scholar on this planet. But unless I have pure devotion, I cannot achieve the goal of life. I cannot get love of God. You understand? And that love of God comes. You don't need any material qualification. You don't need any material wealth. You don't need any material beauty. You don't need any material education. You just need faith. I have to get faith in the word of Guru, Sadhu and Shastra, and only if that one can get to the path of para-dharma. Just like Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, once he was passing through a temple in southern India, and he saw that around a certain individual who was holding a Bhagavad Gita, there was a group of men who were smiling, and this man was crying. He had a Bhagavad Gita like this, and he was crying. So, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu approached that devotee and said, "Why are you crying?" So, he said, "My spiritual master told me to read one chapter of Gita every day. But I can't read. I can't read it. I'm so unfortunate. I don't know how to read. I can't follow my Guru's order." But Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, "Still, why are you crying? Don't cry." He said, "Oh, well, look at the merciful Supreme Personality of God Shri Krishna, who is agreed to become the chariot driver of Arjuna." Then my heart cried to see how humble the Lord can become to serve his devotee. Just imagine the Lord serving his devotee as a driver. Then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu embraced him and said, "Oh, you have really understood the message of the Gita." Yes. So the point is, you don't need any mature qualifications. There was a Brahmin devotee called Kolaveta Śrīla. He used to live on the bank of the Ganges. And he used to make leaf cups of banana leaves. And what was his income? Few paisas, 3 paisas for 1 month. But still he was giving half his income for worshipping Mother Gandhi. Small income. Still 30% he was giving to Mother Gandhi. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was so pleased with his devotion that he manifested his divine transcendental form and he asked him, is there any benediction that you want? And what did he say, Paravita Srita? I just want a benediction that I may always be in the association of devotees and be in position to execute devotional service. This is the only benediction that I want. Chala-dharma, he has gone through so many tribulations just because of his attachment to Krishna, isn't it? Just like in the Soviet Union, so many of the devotees were in jail for 4 years, 5 years, because why? Their only sin was they were attached to the chanting of the holy name. So, when they were complete irreligious garments, then they were all in jail. So para-dharmaḥ, after he had got the killed, para-dharmaḥ was offered by Lord Krishna any benediction that he may like, or the